ask Raju to take over and say something. He has prepared a presentation also.
So thanks EBC, thanks Chugh Saab, and thanks Aniket Bhai for giving me an opportunity, especially in lockdown, to speak about something which I'm passionate about it. There is no doubt about it. We are in a very unpredictable and uncertain times. We don't know how things will pan out, how things will span out from a business point of view, which is one of the greatest civilizational crises which we are witnessing right now. So it's not a crisis of business alone or funding or any aspect of business. It's a larger than life human civilizational crisis. So I am too small to comment on how things will pan out, but I am assuming that things will remain constant in terms of what has happened already has happened, and after some time there will be some semblance of normalcy, and things will to some kind of normalcy. Basis this, I have made a presentation, and I'm looking at it. What are the basic nuances of it, and then what are the possible scenarios which will emerge post COVID, that what we are witnessing today. So see, there are two types of fund. One is fund based and non fund based. One fund based is simple. It's like when a into your account, and it is for money meant for either for working capital or capital expansion. That's called fund based. Non fund basis, wherein the banks or institution funds us, but does not give any capital to us. For example, a bank guarantee or LC. These are all non fund based. I don't think I need to hop more, but anybody needs a broader clarification, more than happy. In fund based, we have two types of instruments predominantly deployed in funding, which is equity and debt, right? So in debt we have secured and unsecured, and in equity we have typical four types of funding options, which is family and friends, angel investors, VC, private equity, and capital markets. If we look at it last year perspective in India, last year it was 2019 was a golden era for private equity and VC investments. Close to around $48 billion was infused in 2019. The total deals were 1,037 deals which were struck. And this is source is IDCA Ernst & Young data. The number of deals were done 137. If you look at it, that the only times when we had downfall of private equity VC investment was in 2016, 2005, 15. 2014, we had closed around $12 billion of investments. And 2015, it was $20 billion, and number of deals were also increased to 767. But then there was a substantial dip in 2016 when the deal size was number of deals were 588, and the total deal size was 6. But since then, 2016, it has been steadily growing from $16 billion in 2016, 2017 to $26 billion, 2018 $37 billion, and 28% jump last year, which was 2019. Now, as we see this COVID, post-COVID scenario, we will come to that later. But the things were looking very healthy from in terms of private equity and VC deal. There were a lot of homegrown funds in India. If you look at initially till 2000, for example, in 2010, $8 billion of amount was invested. Out of this $8 billion of investors, substantial amount was limited partners from overseas and offshore funds. It was not a domestic fund, but there's a considerable domestic funds which are available as a limited partners, wherein a lot of funds have, for example, because I'm privy to a lot of funds which are doing fundraising right now. I would not like to name them, but a lot of funds, I see them raising from typical traditional businessmen from Kolkata or even some small city in Junjunu. So what I'm trying to say is that till 2009, the consolidation and institutionalization of private equity and VC funding was substantially way higher than it was in preceding years. That's the one aspect of it. Second was angel investment in terms of platforms, in terms of networks. A lot of people jostling to look at in equity investment, which was typically in India. We had a mindset of investment towards debt, wherein हमारे को interest rate कितना मिलेगा. So there was a shift happening, a gigantic shift which was happening till 2019. So market was considerably getting matured and evolved. Now, what is the main criteria for equity funding? What are the main criteria as an investor looks for an equity funding in it? And it is simply four things, which I called MP2E. Hello? Hello?
ये सुन रहे हैं, हमने सबने म्यूट कर रखा है.
So MP2E, MP is market. How is the market? What is the market size of this, where we have the domain in which the entrepreneur is playing? What is the market? How big is the market? Is it growing market or not? Has it market already matured or not? You know, because if you look at it, for example, a lot of people ask me question that Flipkart, which has been on a total loss of $24 billion, yet having a multi-billion-dollar valuation, was predominantly of the reason that markets were unseen. We did not know how the markets will evolve. The e-commerce had just begun. Somebody said that it's a $400 billion market. Somebody had predicted that the total retail market is $400 billion in India. It will be 10% of it, is $40 billion. Somebody said it 100. So there was uncertainty to the market, but one thing was conclusive and sure, looking at the dynamics of consumption of consumers vis-a-vis their orientation towards e-commerce, it was well established and beyond belief that yes, the markets will increase, so the market will grow. So hence there was this the game of valuation. Hello. Yeah. So there was this whole bunch of uncertainty. Hence there was this valuation. So what I'm trying to say is that one of the most important element of that proposition is that whenever we look for funding is a market. How big is the market? For example, if somebody wants to say that I want to get into I want to become a bread manufacturer, okay, and will you fund me? I'll be the first one. I would say no, because this market is already evolved, unless until he doesn't have out of box product, or which is different than how the market is offering. If somebody is giving a run of the mill in a Delhi NCR market, which is a typical Harvey or Bon and Harvey bread, it won't have much of marketplace to penetrate in. Hence, the market is the most important element of it. Whenever we look at the funding aspect, whenever we invest. Second is P, product. Again, the most critical element is the P. That how is the product? Is it sometimes what happens that there is a market is phenomenally. We have seen in myriad of examples, especially in fintech. We saw that in fintech and in healthcare space, or in, for example, edutech also, there was market opportunity was there, especially in edutech. But product fundamentally was not somehow which was conducive to the marketplace. For example, wherein the products, there can be several nuances to this product. Nuances in terms of UI, nuances in terms of its business model, nuances in terms of monetization. So the combination, the sum total of all factors of these, UI, monetization, whether it can spread through word of mouth or not, is the most important element of it. Because everybody can have a product which can be a brilliant product, but does not have monetization aspect, which can potentially make sense to the marketplace, to the market which is here. Does not have a great UI. For example, I always say whenever I deliver lecture, whenever I used to go to teach, I used to tell my students that the marketing should be embedded in the product. If you have to spend money onto the market, the 9 out of 10 chances it will not sustain. There's a lot of proposals which we get from entrepreneurs for funding when they say that hamare ko 80% is the total fund requirement. 60 rupees, 80 crores, for example, 8 crores is a fund requirement. Out of that, 6 crores is market. We just discourage that. We don't encourage that proposition. Because if you have to spend so much of money onto the marketing itself, that means your product has some look in it. It's a run of the marketing is not embedded in the product. It cannot go from the run of the market. So the second aspect is, the most important aspect is the product. So marketing, product, and out of all, the 2 E's are very important. One is entrepreneurs and horse, because no matter how big the market is, how meter the product is, if the horse is not good, if the entrepreneur is not good, if the entrepreneur is not full of passion, if the entrepreneur does not have a sense of understanding of the marketplace, the entrepreneur does not have a sense of where it is going right now in terms of his current outlook, working with teams, working in constraints, it is very difficult. I have seen, I can give n number of examples wherein I have seen wherein the market was good, product was good, but the entrepreneur, for example, entrepreneur had come from, I have a very vivid example. Recently, we had one of my dear friends had funded it. He was a chief operating officer of one healthcare company. I would, apparently enough, I would not know it, but he had come from a typical corporate background wherein he had typical capital outlays with him. He had a typical infrastructure with him, but he could not sustain and survive the frugalities, the stresses of startup culture. And that product lab, market was good, product was good, entrepreneur was good in terms of understanding that domain order. But one aspect of entrepreneur wherein, hello?
Raju bhai, batao.
So which was not there was that he was not able to understand the constraints. He was not able to work around the constraints of his startup culture, wherein he wanted secretary from day one and so on and so forth. So the most important element which I want to emphasize on that is of entrepreneur. It's the most important, one of the most important element of the whole matrix of the equity funding: market, product, and entrepreneur. And fourth aspect, which predominantly 90% of this, for example, I have also personally invested in 4 or 5 startups. What we look at it as a startup when we investing is that the fourth E, the E is the exit. Is exit possible or not? There are a lot of businesses which are very good businesses, might be good for cash flow, might be good for dividends, but fundamentally will not give an exit. For example, I do a costing business. So there is a cyclical business of it, and it gives me a good return, a good dividends, but it is not commensurate to that, because equity means higher risk and higher return. Okay. There is 1 into 10 possibilities that in this business I can get exit, because there won't be any buyer for my businesses, because it's a run of the mill, it's a difficult business, it's a traditional with non-consolidated businesses. So several aspects of this businesses wherein exit is, I cannot go for an IPO and so on and so forth. So the fourth aspect, 90% of the funds, especially those who have limited partner money with them, not proprietary capital, they look for exits because they have there is a cycle of a fund which they have to manage. So they look at exit. So if I have to sum up what the fund looks for, are 4 aspects predominantly. That's MT2E: market, product, and entrepreneur and exit. Any questions till this point of time?
No.
Okay. So let's look at now what will happen with post-COVID scenario. So there is this, as I said, that nobody can predict at this point of time what will happen post-COVID, because we are in a mine right now. We don't know how deep we are and how much time it will take us to extricate us from this mine. It's very difficult. Anybody claiming that he can predict that this is the possible scenarios is perhaps just talking to the hat, because we don't know we don't know about the vaccinations, we don't know about its recurrence, we don't know about lockdowns, we don't know about financial implications, and every country has its own difficulties, and every country is facing serious economic challenges right now. Except US, which can print currency, rest every country will have macroeconomic indicators which will be very difficult to contain. and it's the pyramid of the business starts from the top. There's a macroeconomic environment, and then my industry, micro environment, and so on and so forth. But coming back to post-COVID scenario, what I envisage is that because the central rates across the world, especially Japanese central bank, Federal Reserve in US, they will have the repo rate.
अरे उनका म्यूट हो गया.
Please continue, sir.
Yeah.
आवाज कट रही थी.
So what I'm trying to say is that, but the bank rates will be virtually zero across the world. All major countries will have bank rates which will be as low as 0.25% to 0%. So what this indicates in per se is that there will be a lot of liquidity. Banks will have a lot of money. For example, in India, the repo rate has already reduced because they want the banks to lend money. So what I am seeing is that there is a lot of global liquidity there, which will be there. So a lot of money will come to this into private equity and VC scenarios, VC ecosystem. And we have evidences in 2008 when global recession happened, and we had huge liquidity push by tops in US that we had checks in Lagos to Cape Town to Johannesburg flowing left, right, and center. So yes, there is a possible there is a rush of a lot of liquidity, a lot of cheap money which will be available, and this money perhaps will come into the global, but not perhaps, it will come into the VC private equity ecosystem. Otherwise, also it will come into foreign institutional investors. There will be liquidity. There will be money which will be available with the foreign institutions. They will do money. They will acquire some stakes in, say, X company which is listed company will have a liquidity. They will acquire some company. So per se, there will be a global liquidity. The policy makers, which is not our topic, but policy makers by and large, see what in 2008, what Alan Greenspan, the chairman of Fed Reserve did, he ensured that this liquidity was well oiled and well greased to the sectors which needed most in terms of the growth, in terms of stimuluses which can have a multiplier effect. I'm not here to comment on how policymakers would do, but as a venture capitalist, someone who is a part of VC equity, I see a positivity in that there will be a lot of capital flows which will come in this ecosystem. But having said that, now let us look at what will be the negatives of it. The one negative will be that sectoral follow-up of investments, whether it is Sequoia, Helion, or any venture capital firm in the world, because of what has happened currently, the business has been hibernated and has standstill. The usual cash flows of all the businesses, whether it is IT, consumer, any businesses for that matter, will have strain. Now, what the VCs and private equity guys will have to do is that they will have to put more money into it. So sectoral follow-ups will be there. So perhaps if I have a fund of $100 billion, so if I would have potentially invested my remaining $40 billion in new startups, I might have to invest some of it, 10 to 20 delivers to my existing portfolio company. So that's something which is negative in my sense. So there will be a lot of sectoral follow-up investment between this stressed follow-ups which the existing VC and private equities will do. Second will be sectoral write-offs. There will be write-offs which will happen. Those people who will not be able to follow up, or the business cycles now, because there are so many business opportunities which have gone for toss, wherein the gestation period now will remain for 1.5 years, 2 years. The VCs will write off their investments. They will not do the follow-up. So there will be a lot of sectoral write-offs which will happen in some time, whether lockdown remains on 3rd May or it persists beyond that, but that is given. Now, the percentages of these sectoral write-offs will be determined by how much this lockdown remains and business remains in stagnation and limbo. Third aspect will be LP withdrawals, limited partner. I'm sure that all of you must be aware that how the VC ecosystem works. VC does not have his own money. The VC is set up a fund, and this fund is subscribed by people, investors called limited partners, right? So what will happen is that a lot of limited partners, say a pension fund in US, which had say $100 billion or $10 billion, $100 billion under it, because his own investments would have some of his investment will be written off, so he would need funds for his own survival also. Hence what will happen is that he would not be able to follow up his commitment to a particular fund which he has committed, that okay, I have subscribed say $10 billion, 4 I have already paid, 6 I would. So what will happen is that a lot of people, we will see that a lot of consolidation happening in funds also. So there will be say $100 billion fund may remain only $60 billion fund. Third and last and final will be that a lot of industries which were green shoot industries, just preceding month or 3, for example, say retail, may not be the darling of the VC and private equities no more. Okay, there will be a lot of industries which will come, which will now be out of this, out of reckoning for simple reason that their business models have gone for a toss, and the revival of the business will depend. Because see, what we need to understand is that, let's take for example Indian case also. India, the pre-COVID also, economy was strained. There was demand side problem. There was not consumption happening. Okay. Now what will happen is this crisis of this COVID crisis, the consumption across the board will dip further, whether it is FMCG, whether it is pharmaceutical, whether it's any, and this is cyclical, and the whole cycle gets impacted by this. Because of this, what will happen? A lot of businesses will vanish overnight, with due respect to whether this. So what I see is that, for example, if retail or say sport technology was something which was, or say premium healthy snacks, okay, was something which was VCs and private equity guys were looking at it as something which was the darling of the times before, won't be there. So these sectoral reorientations and sectoral preferences will also alter in coming months. This was what was. Any questions till equity funding?
Question. Anybody has any questions? Sunil, आपने तो अभी fund raise किया ना startup buddy वाला. You can you have any queries or something?
Right now there is no query. We'll ask if.
अच्छा.
So this is more or less what is happening from the equity side. From debt side, first of all, I just want to tell you a macro picture. Macro picture is that again there will be a lot of liquidity. Repo rate has decreased. But having said that, the biggest worry is that earlier there was NPA which was from corporate side. Now there will be NPS from retail side, because we know across the board companies have slashed some 30% salaries. There will be massive layoffs. What will happen that individual people will not be able to pay their EMI, say their auto loan, home loan, and so forth. So what will happen that retail loan NPS will increase. So again, there will be earlier there was a double whammy of balance sheet trouble in India. Hello? Yeah. So
Raju bhai, you are loud and clear.
Now what will happen is that what will happen to these, what you call the debt side, is that banks will be strained, and especially in India, because there will be a lot of delinquencies of retail loans which will start happening. Even though there is a moratorium, which is not actually a moratorium, it's just a deferment of payments by banks for retail loans. But I sense that there will be an increase of NPS in retail loans as well. which will have stress on the balance sheets of the bank, and in turn, there will be some issue with the, and we are already, and we have to bear in mind that we are all, our banks are already undercapitalized. For example, if you look at between say 2008, 2020, 2008, when great recession happened, if we look at the capitalization of bank in US, capitalization banks of India, we were far better. But if we look at the capitalization of banks here and capitalization of other major economies in 2020, we are in a very sticky ground. We don't have, our banks are not capitalized enough. So what I sense is that because of this, because of the flow of between asset book and the liability book of banks getting stressed and strained, it's very difficult for banks to fund, to have, you know, liberal kind of funding environment. And given our experience with pre-COVID situation, so that's also going to be stressful. Third, which was emerging, was the new age funding, which was fintech funding, which was happening, which was, for example, we had people doing specific funding, for example, travel agent funding only meant for travel agents. We had these working capital loans, we had bill of discounting. I envisage that because of this, because they also were in turn funded by banks, there will be some impact on their books, some of their position as well. But I don't sense it's in a scale of a gigantic proportion that it will, you know, disrupt and write off the fintech companies. But there will be. But here also there are a lot of opportunities for non-traditional fintech companies like RuPay, because I sense that as we progress, that there will be a lot of need for gold loans. Okay, so new age, new instruments of funding, I clearly believe that will be on anvil. Then the third aspect will be is that government, some of my colleagues have written to government. We have just drafted it. We are in process of sending it to government to increase. I don't know how many of you know the CTGSME scheme, where it was non-collateralized loan of 1 crore, non-collateralized loan. We have asked government to look at it, how to broaden it, you know, beyond the existing channels of network, and how to you know, dovetail it with Mudra loan, and so that the massive crisis, liquidity crisis and cash flow crisis, which are an anvil post slowdown, then can be mitigated through these public policy instruments. So we are in process of drafting it. We don't know, you know, how government and banks will respond to it. But my sense is that there will be some positive movement, because they understand that it's a virtually collapse of economy if there is not a maintenance of liquidity position amongst the businesses.
Raju, I have one question.
Yes.
Like you have shared a situation related to the startups and the economy. So our startup, we are dealing with the small retailers, and there is a slightly increase in the demand of credits from these retailer side. So what best mode will be for them to get credit? Maybe it's NBFC or banking. So what will be after this COVID situation? So what are the best ways to support them in arranging funds for their businesses? So if we want to help them to connect with the NBFCs or with the banks, so what will be the best mode for small businesses like Kirana stores or medical stores or the small businesses or traders? So
see,
can you share something? Yeah, please.
One of the suggestions which we have written to government, which we are in process of drafting, me and my couple of friends, what we are saying is that there's a lot of B2B network which are in vogue right now. Okay, through leveraging these, we'll have to look at this is what we are writing. We are pushing government extensively in pressurizing them, that we have to look at out of box and non traditional mechanism of funding. For example, one of the for retail, because we envisage that a lot of Kirana stores will not be able to maintain, because there's a credit cycle which happened with the distributor, which has broken. So after this lockdown is over, there'll be huge. So if you look at, for example, mom and pop store, we have close to around India has highest retail density of retail stores in India, which is 12 million retail stores. If we take simple mathematics and arithmetic out of it, 10% of also needing just this what you call funding, which was 1.2 million. So what we are saying is that typical banking needs and typical bank systems which are in place or typical credit cycles will not work in the situation we are in. So what we have recommended to the government is look at it, for example, a CGTMSE as one instrument as a distribution channel. Second is that, for example, there's a lot of B2B solution, for example, lots wholesale solutions. Okay, so they give retailers to this. Can we, because lots become a guarantor and lots is funded and lots in turns give credit to his retailers, you know, something like that, because these are the ways and it is the out of box. Then third important element and aspect is that very important aspect, which recently, I don't know how many of you read this article by Amartya Sen, Abhijit Ji and Raghuram, wherein they have written to the government per se about credit, that we do not look at that how much leakage will happen. If that leakage happens, that will also be part of system. Right now, we should not worry about what will be the percentage of leakage of these credits. We should be more worried that even if we have 10 people asking for genuine loan, if it goes to 6 people also, 4 is leakage, it is fine, because otherwise the whole economy can collapse. And see, car, if it is moving with low air pressure is okay. But if the car totally gets punctured and gets standstill, it becomes very difficult to change the tire and then put a new stepney, and it's a difficult, and it's a similar, and it's exactly the same with the economy. If we don't make it push a little bit with low air pressure till it reaches to a position wherein we can fill the air and let it move fast into high growth agility, till then we have to keep it moving. To keep it moving, we will have to be liberal. We will have to be change our credit policies. We will have to be very, very, very ultra liberal in giving loans. And loans not to, I would not say large scale loans. I would say what you said, to retailers, to medical, to small, even you make it, you know, instruments. Petrol pump owners becomes different. And we are fortunate enough, we have so much of fintech network which is available, which can be leveraged right now in terms of whether it is working capital loans, whether it is, for example, there is a company which does specifically only travel agent loans. They do only travel agent. What I would do perhaps if I am at a policy maker and we are writing it, don't worry about right now. Use this fintech NBFC which is doing on travel, because travel is something which has hampered the most. Use this and give funding through this agency, you know, spread the existing policy. So what I am saying is that the policy makers have to make a role, but more important, why I am saying, because I understand that none of us is a policy maker here, but as a common citizen, as somebody who's part of an ecosystem, it is very important that, because we have right now tools of you know, making us heard, whether it is through social media messaging. Things are very bad. We ought to speak. We ought to speak to the government. We ought to speak to the policy makers. We ought to make concerted effort in making us heard. If we don't do it, we are in for one of the deepest perils, more than Great Depression, more than ever seen by modern economic history.
Perfect, sir. Thanks for sharing on this topic. Thank you.
So, you know, I have, this is what I have. If some have more questions or any specific or general, you can ask me. Yeah, Santosh ji, boliye.
Hello, sir. Actually, a lot of countries are now looking to shift their companies, manufacturing sector from China to other countries, other nations. And in this scenario, India could be a better option for other countries like Japan, Germany. So in the meanwhile, our small business houses, which want to enter into a manufacturing sector, but somehow because of the past trend, they cannot approach for equity funding. And as you have said that our financial institution, including banks and NBFC sector, are already in strain. So how they can capitalize this possible market, if it comes into India, then how better they can utilize this moment where they can have their manufacturing setup in India with better financing, better funding.
See, unfortunately, I'll be very honest that there are very few funds in India which operate and which look at manufacturing as an option of equity funding. Unfortunately, the most of the funding, manufacturing funding which is available as of now is, Santoji, through banks and NBFC. There are no specialized institutions, or because what if you look at it, because it's a question of skill set also. Majority of the funders which are in India, which are being run by people who are either ex-entrepreneur or ex-technologist, or somebody who has sold his business, was in IT. So they also don't have skill sets for manufacturing. Okay, there are very few funds promoted by somebody who has an manufacturing background. For example, I will give an example. These people who used to manufacture inverter, Luminous, they have a fund, but majority of their fund is in healthcare, education. None of them has gone to manufacturing. So there is a big lacuna of funding available for manufacturing in India. Unfortunately, that is right now catered by banks and NBFCs, and I have there is no other option but to look at to go. But having said that, what we can do is, with the report which we are submitting to government, in that I just got a reckless idea that we can look at it that, for example, there's a fund which has not been utilized by as of now, and there is a fund which is already available which was supposed to go into SIDBI. We can ask government that to look at it, that this fund, because it has still not been, it is unused fund, to the best of my knowledge it's still unused fund. We can ask government that we can use that fund in the SIDBI and have it dedicated for manufacturing, which is a very good idea. And rather we will do it in this week, Santoji. I will ensure that this reaches to government, but
Sure.
I'm not sure.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Any more queries? Hello? Any more queries? अच्छा राजू भाई, एक क्वेरी मेरी तरफ से है कि अगर छोटी कंपनी है, उसका फाउंडर है, उसने कुछ शुरू कर दिया एंड इन्वेस्टर खुद के पैसे से लगा के बिजनेस किक स्टार्ट कर दिया, अब उसे फंड रेजिंग की रिक्वायरमेंट है और उसका जो ऑडिटर है उसको अप्रोच करता है या सीए उसको, तो उसको किस तरह से इसको लेना चाहिए, क्या क्या मतलब एडवाइस देनी चाहिए और कैसे करना चाहिए?
मतलब देखिए अनिकेत भाई, उसमें ये है कि वही जो मैंने 3 बताया कि पहले देखिए कि उसका मार्केट है कि नहीं। सेकेंडली, एंटरप्रेन्योर में उतना देखिए, बहुत सारे जो टिपिकल इंडिया में क्या हुआ, एंड आई विल बी मतलब ऑन द रिकॉर्ड में बोलूंगा, अनफॉर्चुनेटली जो ट्रेडिशनल बिजनेसमैन थे, VC and private equity, there has tried to work with them, but they are burnt hand there. Okay, it has not been a good experience. So majority of the people, those who are funding not traditional business people. They are funding those who are professional, ex-professional, those who have those who don't have legacy, business backgrounds, right? So he should look at that aspect. Second aspect, look at the viability of it in terms of project viability. And third is that do a dipstick, do a dipstick with 2-3 people. First of all, look at the funds which are in that sector and talk to them. Okay, and do a dipstick and see that if there is some interest, 1 or 2 people say, okay, let's have a call with the entrepreneur, then he should look at more aggressively, then make a list and talk to more and more people. Look at it, who are the potential strategic investments, those who can be tapped, who are the financial investors, those who can be tapped, and prepare a one pager financials and so on so forth, जो एक typical जिसे IM कहते हैं, deck कहते हैं.
अच्छा, anybody has more queries?
Aniket, not an query, but I have got
Yes,
some observation.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, just 15 minutes back, I think I was already in this webinar, and some bad news. I am yet to confirm, but I heard that now the current going rate of dollar is just $14 a barrel, and also the June call rate is $2. And the most funny part is no takers even on $2 per barrel. The second bad news which came was that now the Koreans have decided to get out of China. Well, as Indians, because the economics is being discussed, I will also love that countries go out of China and get into India. But let us not forget, we are shaking the second largest economy in the world and in such a short period. And if the $2 call rate is not there, we are talking about complete Middle East and complete oil export. The maximum demand of the companies coming is going burst. That is point number two. The third is we are also looking at a reverse migration, because this kind of unemployment from Middle East where Indians are there, let us say except US, I'm not talking about US at all, because I agree with the speaker that it can print many things and can survive. What I'm talking about is these three aspects itself. I think we have to be very careful. We have to recalibrate our approach. And I think I agree with the line that what you are looking at or what you are going to face is, or rather, the human race might have never faced. It's only the other side. Let us be optimistic. But I think all our economics are now not valid for more than 6 hours every day.
Yes,
So
yes.
we should be continuously assessing ourselves. And I fully agree that possibly the bank rates, the funds, the venture capital. Imagine $2 barrel no takers. You imagine what is going to happen. So the only big strength in India we have got is that our 40 to 45% economy is rural. If we add to that our small and medium enterprises, I think we are the most suited economy who can survive possibly. And definitely with Koreans, Japanese, Egypt population, they are the big people. If they want to actually get things manufactured, they will definitely prefer India to China. And I think we should be reassessing ourselves, like I say, every 6 hours, I think. So I don't know. That was only an observation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Rakesh sir, I want to just add to your this that because Santoshji had asked me specific about banking, but since you have touched about this very important aspect of that, how effective we are ready as a, again it's a policy maker's question, that how effective, how much we are ready for to absorb this influx of lot of, I am assuming that every manufacturing house want to come out of India, but how as an India, how much we are ready for that. I think we are not ready, because of the reason that the most important element of manufacturing is the land, and our land acquisition bill, which was passed by government, then this government, previous government in 2015-16, I think, started with land ordinance and then nullified it. This is the right time to bring that land ordinance if they want to actually do it. This and this, unless until we don't bring in that land ordinance and make it as an nullify the land acquisition bill, I'm afraid we are just talking as a nationalist, just as a social media robots, as a nationalistic, but we are not doing good service of doing it on ground actually.
I fully agree with you. And in my personal opinion, more than the entrepreneurs and other people as citizens, it's now the time, or rather the time which is going to come, or what we are expecting is the respective governments have to be very, very decisive.
Correct.
And they will have to change the way they look towards even governance and economics altogether.
Correct.
You are absolutely right that land is an issue, because with these kind of policies, you just cannot survive. And the only government and the people of that country will survive if this scenario which is developing. I pray to God that this never happens. But the way, if the whatever the information is coming which is correct, I think a lot will depend upon the policies of the government and decisiveness. Because airlines also, you might have heard that they have postponed their booking till 31st of May. It means that we are getting into May lockdown completely, and possibly June. That means we are not going to kickstart this economy by next year. So we are in a very bad position.
Yeah.
And I think we have to reassess everything. Good that we are talking. Good that Aniket is doing everything and EBC team is doing everything. I think we must have more and more decision on these. And we must assess almost every day. As of now, it's anybody's guess actually how it is going to work.
Yeah, it is this Rakesh sir, this news of US dollar is correct. It is because it is slated that the moment it opens, it might open at $10 a barrel as well. So
yeah, very bad news. It's very bad news.
It's a big, but the biggest bad news is for India is because our, whether, I don't know, I mean, I'm just adding, it's not part of the same. I'm sorry, I'm just being effusive, that one of the reasons for our balance of payment stability is the remittances from Middle East. And that's going to hit massively, and we will have a balance of payment crisis. We will have to pledge everything. So this is something which governments has to look at it. These news are very bad news. So
very bad news. And even the Korean news, I consider, possibly as a nationalist, what you say, I'm so happy that people are going to invest in India. No, it's wrong to do. It's a wrong thinking as an educated person. Because in the whole process, I'm shaking the second largest economy in one single stretch. I think with Koreans, see, Japan I had no issue. But with Koreans joining it, it is very clear that now a complete lobby is going to walk out of China now. It's going to be totally different ballgame. China is going to collapse with this kind of a news. That is my personal assessment. And imagine the Middle East going on. Lakhs of our workers are there.
Correct. Correct.
And majority of the buying of Middle East is coming, if I take it from Europe, whether it is tourism, hospitality, investment. Now, if that happens, Europe will be the next. And combine the two, imagine how many Indians are going to get back to India. And how are we going to survive? So it's anybody's guess. Today, these two bad news has really, it was a very bad thing for me. But anyway, we have to assess. These are the things beyond our control. But then we as thinkers, we should also contribute and continue to go on advising the society.
Yes. Okay.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Okay, Aniket bhai.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very
Good job.
much.
Good job.
Thank you.
नीतीश जी क्लोज करो कुछ आप बोलो से एंड सर
anyone has any query please do not hesitate.
I want to
Yes,
ask one
Santosh ji,
query
please.
from Raju Moja ji. Actually, Raju ji is there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Raju ji, actually, this is not the topic of the day, but since it is very much important, so just I want a brief highlight from you regarding right now the MSME is having survival challenges. Most of the MSME is having survival challenges, and no support has been recommended by the government till yet. In this scenario, because we don't know whether lockdown will be persisting till June or July whatsoever. So in this period, how they should manage with their working capital. So some of your views highlights that in the better manner they can have the management of their available funds so that they can keep up with this time.
Santosh ji, it's a very difficult question and very I mean, case to case vary. But I would suggest, and to for example, my own portfolio companies, what I have told them is conserve, 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 conserve. Okay, because we don't know how far the deep is. I will be honest with you. We have deferred so much payments, which were typical working cycle payments, which we have deferred. What I would suggest is that conserve, conserve. That's it. There is, as of unfortunately in India, we have seen, for example, Britain has done brilliant stimulus. Canada has done brilliant stimulus for businesses. Several countries have great stimuluses, but unfortunately we don't have. So, and we don't have a physical leg room. Also, I don't blame government for that, because they don't have a physical leg room to do that. So, of course, apparent enough, yes, it's a very difficult situation. I would if I have to answer it in one line, I would say that conserve, because the future is uncertain. We don't know how things will pan out.
All right, thank you so much.
शुभांशु, आप पूछ लीजिए क्या क्वेश्चन था. हेलो शुभांशु,
आपका म्यूट है शुभांशु जी, आप अनम्यूट कर दीजिए. शुभांशु जाली जी, क्वेश्चन पूछ लीजिए आप.
हेलो.
हाँ जी,
हाँ जी सर, एक चीज पूछनी थी मेरे को आपसे. लाइक वी हैव डिस्कस द नॉन कोलेटरल स्कीम, जो आपने अभी डिस्कस की थी बिगनिंग में, कि वो जो बैंक क्राइटेरिया कंसीडर करता होगा फाइनेंस करने के लिए, वो क्या क्राइटेरिया होता होगा एज इट इज नॉन कोलेटरल फाइनेंस? इज देयर एनी क्राइटेरिया कि जो बैंक कंसीडर करता है कि इनको देना इनको नहीं देना फाइनेंस?
प्रेडोमिनेटली हर किसी बैंक के अलग अलग मोरलेस यही होती है कि वो सिबिल स्कोर देखते हैं और पास्ट का देखते हैं कि कैसे ट्रांजैक्शन है, बाउंस तो नहीं हुआ चेक, मतलब हिस्टोरिक. हाँ, फॉर स्टार्टअप तो अभी स्टार्टअप के लिए बहुत ही कम फंड्स है, स्पेशली में. तो वो तो बिल्कुल ही मतलब जस्ट मतलब दिखाने के लिए है, कोई है ही नहीं इंडिया में, लेट्स बी ऑनेस्ट. बट एक क्या बोलते हैं, अगर आपकी कंपनी स्टार्टअप है जिसमें आपने 2-3 महीने और प्रमोटर का खुद का अच्छा सिबिल स्कोर है, तो बैंक उसमें देखता है. बट बैंक तो भी 1 साल का कुछ ना कुछ, पहले 1 साल का ट्रांजैक्शन देखता है, कुछ ना तब देखता है, अदरवाइज वो नहीं देता है. अगर मैं आज किसी एक स्टार्टअप के लिए जाऊंगा, बैंक नहीं मुझे लोन देगा.
ओके सर.
इसमें मैं एक चीज कहना चाहूंगा. एक सिडबी का सॉफ्ट बैंक का लोन का स्कीम है, उसमें स्टार्टअप
का सॉफ्ट बैंक,
हाँ, सॉफ्ट लोन का स्कीम है, जहाँ पे वो स्टार्टअप्स को देते हैं. बट प्रमोटर की जो, जैसे मुद्रा लोन के लिए देखते हैं ना, प्रमोटर्स की क्रेडिट रेटिंग, जो राजू भाई ने बोला, वही देखते हैं.
जी सर.
ठीक है, उसमें प्रमोटर से वो लेते हैं कि आप पर्सनली रिस्पॉन्सिबल रहोगे, बट आपकी प्रॉपर्टी मॉर्गेज नहीं कराते.
ठीक है.
ठीक है, और 1 करोड़ तक देते हैं.
ठीक है. तो सर स्कीम तो वही है ना, CGTMSE वाली?
नहीं, सॉफ्ट लोन अलग है.
वो अलग.
ओके, ठीक है. दैट्स द ओनली क्वेरी सर. थैंक यू.
Any other query please?
Sorry, CDB की बात हो रही थी, so I was reading somewhere and you need to validate that. CDB ने अभी आई बिलीव 1 हफ्ता या 10 दिन पहले ना कुछ नया एक फंडिंग लॉन्च किया है फॉर स्टार्टअप्स, जो कि बेसिकली डेट फाइनेंस है. 18 मंथ्स का कुछ दे रहे हैं. उसमें बहुत सारे टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन हैं कि स्टार्टअप हैज टू बी नॉट मोर देन फ्यू मंथ्स या कुछ ऐसे होल्ड. टोटल टर्नओवर स्टार्टअप का कितना है उसका भी लिमिट वगैरह है. आप सीडबी की साइट पे देखेंगे तो दिख जाएगा. रिसेंटली लॉन्च हुआ है, आई बिलीव अप्रैल में ही लॉन्च किया है. स्पेसिफिकली ये जो कोविड के सिचुएशन के बाद में लॉन्च किया है, उसका आप एक बार साइट पे देखेंगे तो उसमें डिटेल दिखेगी. बट वो वही स्पेसिफिक क्लास के लिए है, सबके लिए नहीं है. इट्स नॉट फॉर ऑल स्टार्टअप्स.
मैंने लिंक डाल दिया, ये चेक कर सकते हैं आप. ओके, क्लोज करें इसको सर. नीतीश सर,
Any other query? So
इसमें मैं नीतीश जी अभी एक चीज कहना चाहूंगा. राकेश सर ने थोड़ा लेट ज्वाइन किया.
हाँ जी,
तो सर आप थोड़ा ग्रुप को एड्रेस करें और कुछ कहें, हम क्लोज करें उससे पहले.
Thank you, but I think the presentation was so nicely made that nothing more to say. It was so crystal clear, and I think I also got some benefit because on Friday I'll be interacting for MSME and SME sectors only. And my only suggestion is, because it's still a developing story, and it's good that we are discussing sector by sector, instrument by instrument, and the team is doing very good. I request everyone to be just part of this whole initiative. Anything, let us come out and place everything on table, because these are the times of learning and relearning, and actually unlearning and learning again. So let us benefit with these kind of speakers. A really wonderful presentation, and especially with this current scenario. And let us have this frequency more and more on such topics. Thank you to everyone for joining, and please continue to join in future also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your mentorship and advice. Now I will say, नीतीश जी, आप मीटिंग क्लोज करें, और उससे पहले लोगों को बताएं अगली वाली जो वेबिनार है वो उसका टॉपिक हो रही है.
Thank you, Raju ji, for such a nice deliberation. It was a wonderful webinar today, and we invite you for the next webinar also. We are having tomorrow morning a webinar on reverse CIRP process for real estate companies. Those companies who are in the process of insolvency resolution, and there is a new mechanism of reverse CIRP. So we are discussing that tomorrow morning. The session will start at around 11 in the morning, and the speaker is Samir Nath. So I'll share the details on WhatsApp to everyone, and I request everyone to join tomorrow as well. And before dispersing, I would like everyone to stay safe and don't order any eatable from outside. Stay home, cook home food, and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Raju sir.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for organizing such a wonderful session. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.